Hi there, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to make a quick, just really quick video regarding the curing time and the number of coats for this Wudtone stain. Now, I've done two projects so far. I did Cherry Flamenco on this Flying V. This is a BYO Guitars kit, and you buy Wudtone Stain from BYO Guitars. And so I did the Cherry Flamenco, which was three separate base colors along with a aged top gloss. And that took a long time because you had to let each coat dry for about 48 hours. So I did 3 to 4 of each color. So, you know, picture the 48 hours on each color. So it's a lot. And then the top gloss has to dry for 48 hours, and there were several coats of that. I think I ended up with like 4 coats of top gloss on here. So this color, and that was on mahogany wood. This color went on, this is Surfer Girl, and this has gone on either poplar or paulownia. I'm not sure. It was from an unidentified piece of wood that Kevin got a hold of it, and we decided to make a really nice budget strat out of it, and using Surfer Girl. And this color went on much deeper, much faster, much easier, and seemed like it was thicker going on and just had a better presence like on day one. Enough so that I was sort of convinced I didn't have to do almost wouldn't even need a second coat, even though I knew I would do one. So after that first coat, you let it dry. After about 12 hours you can touch it. 24 hours it's fully dry, but it's good to leave that additional 24-hour period to let it cure. And the Wudtone instructions are a little confusing about that. So whenever you put a coat on, it's always best to just let it dry for 24 hours and an additional 24 hours to get into the curing phase, because that's when the stuff that's going to kind of come out of the finish starts to come off. You take the steel wool, you knock it off, and then you do another coat and wait 48 hours again. So on the second coat, you start to see the matte sheen build up. And that's kind of exciting because it takes on sort of like its own shine without any kind of top coat or anything. It's just beginning to take on a shine, which is really nice. And after that second coat, that 48-hour period is important. And then finally, I thought that with this one, I was always trying to add coats to this one until I just, wouldn't take it anymore. Just because I knew that getting this red to be deep like this, I would have to be, aware of the coats and how much tint I was using, and make sure I put on as much as possible to get that good coverage. Here, it went on much easier, like I said, and the nature of this finish is probably a little more translucent than this finish, and the different types of wood take the stain differently, so it really kind of looks cool to just sort of leave it distressed and not, like more of a translucent finish. But with all that in mind, even though after the second coat, even though the color coverage was good, what I noticed with the third coat, I'm noticing it right now, is more of that sheen. It's like the third coat really like filled it in. And I did notice things that I did not notice before, little areas that took color that did not have color before. So now I know with confidence that with that third coat, I not only have gotten good color coverage, but I've ensured it, and I've made sure that all the spots that might have been a little light that should be filled are filled, and then that accents the spots where the stain doesn't absorb as much. Once we start rubbing in those silver highlights, we'll get even more complexity. So the point of the video is that the extra coat is important. Use up as much of your stain as you can anyway. It's going to dry up unless you're really careful. And then you can always get individual bottles for touch-ups. What I did here was the last mix I made, I'm going to save for touch-ups. The green bottle still has ink in it, or a stain in it, so if you wanted to buy one white bottle from BYO Guitar, from Wudtone, you would be able to make another mix that you could use for touch-ups as well. So that's kind of my strategy now with at least with Surfer Girl, and with the stains that are grouped in the Surfer Girl category, I would assume would all behave similarly. The only other aspect, or the only other thing that you have to keep in mind, is the wood type. because different woods absorb stain in different ways. Some are more porous, some are less porous, some are more dense, some are softer. And this one, it's felt like it was really taking in a lot of stain, but then at a certain point, it built up really nicely that first day. Whereas this one, it took a couple days to really, a couple of coats to really get some really good deep color built up. It had kind of like a strawberry look for a long time. Whereas this almost went to this color immediately as far as the coverage goes. What I've noticed the difference with is the little subtleties. More sheen. The entire thing looks more, it looks smoother and more finished. There's no kind of like dead spaces or gaps. Even though the finish goes on thicker in some spots and leaves more exposed wood in some areas, it looks even and full. So I think our highlights on and we do the top gloss, it is really going to sparkle. So the important thing to remember is make sure you do, even if it's looking good, wait 48 hours between coats. That's important so you get into the curing. Do a really nice job of brushing it down and getting it clean again. And then going as far as you can with the coats. Go for that third coat. Even if it looks like it's fine after that second coat, go ahead and put it on there because it may not add color, it may not give you more coverage, but it's going to complete it. It's going to take you that last step that really gives you that professional looking finish. And at this point, I'm really pleased. So A+ on Wudtone Stain, and it's easy to use, and I think it works great.